I answer him, and if he asks something from me, I grant him. Deviation of the Sufis. Allama Majlisi writes in the explanation of this tradition, that according to Sheikh Bahá'í this tradition is authentic and it is famous among Shias and Sunnis with some minor differences. Some sentences of this tradition, like I become his ears so that he can hear with them, are misinterpreted by Sufis and believers in transmigration of soul. They have gone astray themselves and they mislead others. This wrong belief says that God forbid. Allah can come into anything and can transmigrate anything in himself, God forbid. In the same way, union with God is also a wrong belief. It means that God forbid Allah unites with other things and becomes one with them, and then there is no difference between Allah and that thing, and God forbid everything became God. Allama Majlisi says that reasonable explanations of these traditions are available. They use metaphors, and such use is common in the traditions and Quran, and they are not against the faith of the true believers. Then he gives the sayings of scholars and mentions his opinion. For the sake of brevity we narrate only the saying of Sheikh Bahá'í. People of perception. Sheikh Bahá'í says, for the people of faith, lofty things and secrets are hidden in these statements. Such points that only people of taste can perceive. Their souls are imbued with a fragrance that strengthens their worn out bones. Only one who has practiced penance can adopt these points. One who has devoted his body for a holy war. Only such a one can obtain divine recognition through such statements and understand their meanings. One who does not understand them and one who is not able to obtain divine recognition from these treasures, there is nothing for him except to obtain base physical pleasures. Such a person is being tested. Generally, when he hears such statements, he runs a risk and mostly deviates to transmigration and unification. Allah is much exalted and supreme than this. This can be understood easily by all. Fondness of Allah's proximity. Such statements imply the perfection of Allah's proximity. They express the sway of love over the person's inner and outer dimensions and his being hidden and apparent. But Allah knows better. What we understand is that, I love my servants. I grant him my attachment. He becomes completely attached to me. I keep him in a condition of sanctity. His voice and thoughts remain fully attentive to the unseen world. I take over his five senses. As if I become his ear. That is whatever he hears for me. As if I become his eyes. That is whatever he sees for me only. Many traditions are available regarding the stages of faith, grades of the people of certainty and their excellence. They can be referred to in Usul al-Kafi, chapter of Belief and Infidelity. Our intention is to remind that belief may be of any stage, but a true believer must not stop here. On the contrary, he should try to obtain all the honors of all the three stages of belief. The great signs of certainty. If Allah's favor and grace descends on anyone, he grants him the light of certainty in his heart. This light can spread in his whole heart. In such circumstances all moral defects and evils are removed and he obtains all kinds of good attributes. The Holy Quran says in Surah Furqan, so these are they of whom Allah changes the evil deeds to good ones. 112. Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq A.S. says, certainty of faith makes people scale every lofty and astonishing stage. The Messenger of Allah S. explained the dignity and grandeur of certainty when he was told that Isa ibn Maryam A.S. walked on water. He said, if his certainty had been more, he would have walked on air. 113. In the beginning we have quoted Imam Ali Rida A.S. that the signs of certainty of faith are reliance on God, submission to Allah's will and surrendering the results of our efforts to Allah. Amirul Mu'minin Ali A.S. has said, certainty of faith can be seen in the world in the paucity of hopes, in the sincerity of the deeds and in the piety and fear of God. 114,321. The following is also narrated from him. Patience and piety, and sincerity and obedience are the fruits of certainty and belief. When the tree of certainty grows in the heart, its fruits are good manners and lofty attributes. Certainty is peace and doubt is perplexity. The following tradition of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq A.S. is present in Usul al-Kafi. Allah the Exalted, on the basis of justice has appointed happiness and comfort in certainty of belief and sorrow and grief in doubt and unhappiness. A person with certainty of belief experiences heartfelt peace and comfort. He surrenders the results of all such deeds to Allah. He says, "It was my duty to act and I have done my work. Now it is up to Allah, whether He helps me or not through this. Allah is the knower of everything. If the result is against His will, He does not become aggrieved. He does not become unhappy with Allah. He never says, against the will of Allah. If it had been so, such a man never becomes proud even if the result is according to His will. On the contrary, he thanks Allah. Allah says, no evil befalls on the earth nor in your own souls, but it is in a book before we bring it into existence. Surely that is easy to Allah, so that you may not grieve for what has escaped you, nor be exultant at what He has given you, and Allah does not love any arrogant boaster. 115,322. Everything belongs to Allah. This verse shows that if the people of certainty do not get something they desired, or something they had is taken away from them, they do not become sad. In the same way, if they get something they do not become proud and vain. They consider themselves slaves of Allah and they do not consider themselves independent of Allah in any way. People of certainty are satisfied in all conditions. People of certainty are never fearful and aggrieved even in the most unpleasant circumstances and severe calamities. They never feel alone. They associate all their affairs to Allah. Instead of being troubled, they repose all hopes in the omniscient and omnipotent Allah with utmost patience and dignity. They make efforts according to Allah's commands but leave the results of their efforts to Allah, that Allah may do as He likes. They know that nothing happens without Allah's will, permission or leave. Whether the will of Allah is for mercy or justice, every will of God is for the good of man. Even if He puts man to tests, He intends good for him. Hence, disease or good health, prestige or disgrace, riches or poverty, honor or dishonor. Whether people appreciate Him or not, even life and death, all are same for the people of certainty. They know that whatever the result is, it would be for their good. Indeed, true peace in the world and the hereafter is only achieved by the people of certainty. Allah says, those are they who shall have the security and they are those who go aright. 116. Allah also says, He it is who sent down tranquility into the hearts of the believers that they might have more faith added to their faith. 117. Satisfaction, tranquility, peace and security are the signs of certainty of belief, while the opposite of these are fear, loneliness and sorrow. These are the results of doubt, fear and hope only from Allah. A person with certainty of belief in Allah has neither hope nor fear from anyone. If he fears his sins, it is also due to the fear of Allah. He hopes only in Allah for grace and mercy and for the forgiveness of his sins. The center of his fear and expectations is only Allah. Even if he flees from a beast or an enemy, it is not due to fear. He flees from them because Allah has commanded us to defend ourselves. If he hopes from someone, it is also because Allah has commanded us to seek cooperation from each other. In fact, his hope is from Allah only, that Allah would accomplish His work with the help of others. Allah says in Surah Ali Imran, those to whom the people said, surely men have gathered against you, therefore fear them, but this increased their faith, and they said, Allah is sufficient for us and most excellent is the protector. So they returned with favor from Allah and His grace, no evil touched them and they followed the pleasure of Allah and Allah is the Lord of mighty grace. 118. Importance of a deed is based on certainty. Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq A.S. has stated, a small deed, performed regularly with certainty of faith is better in the view of Allah than a great deed performed without certainty. 119. Amirul Mu'minin, Imam Ali A.S. has said, man does not taste faith till he does not obtain knowledge and certainty. Because what he has got was never to leave him and whatever he has lost was never going to come to him. And the one who gives profit or loss and one who tests us in all ways is only the high and mighty Allah. 120. It is better to sleep with certainty of faith. Imam Ali A.S. heard about a Khariji man of Naharwan that he was very constant in performing the midnight prayer and reciting the Holy Quran. Imam Ali A.S. remarked, to sleep with certainty is better than praying in doubt. 121. The excellence of certainty is such that all the religious personalities, even the Prophet, used to beg Allah for its enhancement. Faith, knowledge and certainty are one and the same thing, and a huge body of Quranic verses and traditions mention its excellence. Love of the world. Love of the world is one of the severe physiological diseases and the greatest sin of the heart, such that all the past prophets have denounced it. The Holy Quran has condemned it more than any other sin and prohibited it. The Messenger of Allah and the Imams have narrated about it in widely related traditions. A few of them are presented here. First of all, it is necessary to know what world means and what is the love of the world that is made unlawful. What does world mean? If the Arabic word for world, dunya, is on the weight of sufra, small, its meaning is clear. If its root is taken as dnw, its opposite would be akhirat, hereafter, which means the most debased. However, if its root is dnyt, lowliness, its opposite would be loftiness. There is no doubt that the worldly life is very low, for many reasons, than the life of the hereafter. While the position of the hereafter is much elevated and excellent. World is the period starting from the time a child is born till the time his soul is separated from the body. The world, with all its necessities, is the place which provides food, clothes, house and other comforts. Like health, children, property, honor, reputation, power, gaiety and a happy social life to man. In other words, the life of man from birth to his last breath denotes the world. Only deeds remain. But prayer, fasting, hajj, poor rate and other worship acts are those voluntary actions of man that he performs on Allah's commands. In the same way, drinking wine, fornication, gambling and others crimes are forbidden by Allah. Though all these things are related to this world the everlasting God has made their effects everlasting. Man must perform these acts in his name and his remembrance. Or in other words, it can be said that if man performs the duties commanded by Allah and refrains from those things prohibited by him with the intention that all this is for Allah, though related to the transient world, the